Have you ever pondered how that morning cup of coffee or your favorite chocolate bar impacts not just your taste buds, but also your brain? More specifically, how do they affect your dopamine levels? Dopamine, often known as the feel-good neurotransmitter, is released by our brains as part of our reward system. It's that burst of pleasure we feel when we indulge in something we enjoy. Now, how does a substance like caffeine or sugar come into play? When you sip your morning brew or have a bite of that delicious dark chocolate, these substances interact with your brain in fascinating ways. They stimulate the production of dopamine in the brain's reward pathway, leading to a surge of pleasurable feelings. Caffeine, for instance, blocks a neurotransmitter called adenosine. Adenosine usually slows down brain activity and promotes sleep. With this neurotransmitter blocked, the dopamine system is free to run wild. That's why that cup of joe can make you feel alert and in high spirits. On the other hand, sugar triggers the release of dopamine in a more direct manner. When you consume sugar, your brain interprets it as a reward, which prompts a dopamine release. It's why that sweet treat can make you feel so good. But it's important to remember, like all good things, moderation is key. Over time, excessive consumption of these substances can lead to a decrease in the number of dopamine receptors. This means you might need more of the substance to feel the same level of pleasure, leading to dependency. Let's now shift gears and talk about something a bit more intimate: sex. Just like caffeine and sugar, sex can also trigger the release of dopamine. This is why we experience feelings of pleasure and satisfaction during and after the act. The rush of dopamine is responsible for these feelings of euphoria and happiness that make us crave more. However, just like with substances, it's possible to develop a dependency. Over time, some people may find themselves relying on the dopamine rush from sex, leading to potential issues such as hypersexuality. This is why understanding the role of dopamine and how it's affected by different activities is so important. So, just like with substances, moderation and understanding are key when it comes to sex. Remember, dopamine plays a crucial role in our lives, but balance is essential to maintain a healthy relationship with it. Moving on to more potent substances, let's discuss cocaine. This powerful stimulant has a significant impact on the brain's dopamine system. It works by blocking the dopamine transporters, which are responsible for the reabsorption of dopamine into the neurons. This leads to an accumulation of dopamine in the synaptic gap, causing an intense high. This surge of dopamine is far greater than the natural production of dopamine, which makes the experience extremely pleasurable. However, the aftermath of this dopamine rush is a drastic drop in dopamine levels, which can lead to feelings of depression and anxiety. This is often what fuels the cycle of dependency and addiction, as users seek to recreate the intense pleasure of the high and avoid the negative feelings associated with the come down. Cocaine's impact on dopamine levels is a stark example of the dangers of substance abuse, reinforcing the importance of moderation and understanding in all aspects of our lives. Lastly, let's delve into the world of synthetic drugs. Synthetic substances, such as MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, have a complex relationship with dopamine. MDMA primarily increases the activity of serotonin and norepinephrine, but it also induces a significant release of dopamine. The intense feelings of euphoria, increased energy, and heightened sociability that users often experience are partially attributed to this surge in dopamine. Yet, as with other substances, the surge is followed by a sharp decline, often leading to what users refer to as a come down. This can include feelings of depression, irritability, and physical discomfort, which can last for several days. These substances can also lead to severe dopamine depletion and potential dependency, especially with frequent use. Synthetic drugs can have a profound impact on dopamine levels, often leading to severe consequences. Substances like caffeine and sugar stimulate dopamine production, a neurotransmitter responsible for feelings of pleasure and planning. Caffeine, a central nervous system stimulant, blocks adenosine, thereby increasing dopamine levels and alertness. Sugar directly triggers dopamine release, causing a sugar rush. While these substances provide temporary mood elevation and alertness, excessive consumption may lead to dopamine sensitivity reduction and potential dependency. Understanding the science of dopamine regulation helps us make informed lifestyle decisions. Other factors like exercise, proper rest, and a balanced diet naturally enhance dopamine production, whereas stress and sleep deprivation can impede its production. Our daily choices, diet, physical activities, sleep, significantly impact our dopamine levels and overall health. Comprehending the relationship between these factors assists in making choices promoting health and happiness. It is about finding the balance between pleasure and health while understanding the implications of our habits and choices.